2, 1.
Hello, everyone. We got a strange-looking Aloy for you. I mean, the advanced fidelity of the PS5 really shows off all the hair that the human body has, and she's just covered with her orange hair now, for some reason. Right? Yeah, this is totally a Horizon game. Alright, kitty game. If you guys missed all the frickin' hype last year, this game came out last year, and exceeded any of my expectations. I had been following it for a long time. We're just going to get into it, though. We should be able to catch up the schedule if I get a half-decent run. Alright. So, time will start when I select a new game here. So, we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, we get a nice little cold open, you know. Just some chill kitty times. We get to play with all our friends. I guess, well, one's Varl. I guess we can call the one right there at the front, that's Erend. Not sure who this is. Who would that be? I'm gonna go with Bryn, because, yeah, I know the trailer came out and everyone's excited, oh, Gildan, but I want to see Bryn in the DLC, so, yeah.
If you got a second to lower the game or just a bit lower.
Okay, I'll get into the nap position and then I'll do that. Yeah, it is really loud. I didn't really test. It's loud for me too. Meows. Alright, so I get some licks from Varl. And let's get into position here. Alright, and then we just take a little nap, and we get a cute little cutscene. Let me drop that game audio. Let's probably go about there, I think should be about good. Hopefully. I mean, to be fair, that is a really loud spot with the thunder, but... that should probably be better for us. So yeah, be a nice cute little kitty nap, wake up. So this is the Glitchless run. The glitched run has some really cool tech, but the Glitchless run is still, you know, a pretty fun run because one, we get a ton of cute kitty time. And in addition, we also get a lot of, like, really precise movement tech. Like, the game mechanically is very simple to play, but to get precise jumps, it takes some practice. So, fun fact with the intro there, the cutscene that we just watched there, that isn't actually the in-game cat model. The in-game cat model is already loaded in on this pipe, so at the trail end of that cutscene, if I had been spamming meow, you can kind of hear some distant meows because it's coming down from the pipe just below. Alrighty. So right off the start, we need to worry about this white cat. It loves to walk out right in front of me. So as soon as we get control, we're gonna go. And we're going to give it a little meow, which tends to, like, make it slow down when it tries to meow back. Which just allows me to cleanly get ahead of it. Intro's pretty much is just a nice little straight line. We got a few little jumps here, but Yeah, and get them kitty emotes. If you guys got kitty emotes, if you sub to me especially, you definitely got some great kitty emotes. So get some kitty emotes in the chat. And I know there's a couple Twitch global kitty emotes. There's was Glitchcat global, or was that one part of like doing trains? I can't remember. I think Glitchcat's global. Alright. So, normally when we do Stray for marathons, if I've been on commentary, or... I guess I've only ever done this game for commentary for a marathon. I haven't actually got to do it as a runner. Even though I've submitted it. Alright, we got a sad scene. Normally I would suggest you guys got an at-home skip for this cinematic, where, you know, you can go and donate or something like that. But, you guys are gonna just kind of have to, you know, just deal with the sad kitty scene. It's, when Aloy gets shoved off during the proving by... or something. But don't worry, Kitty's okay. We're just separated from our friends. Kitty's okay. Got the magical licks. Well, after we have a little nap. It's just like a Naughty Dog game. You take a nap, and everything's fine. Although, for this, it's not so much the nap, it's the licks. Because there's another spot where we take a bit of a tumble later on, and it's definitely the licks that magically, you know, make everything better. Alright, so here we get our first little glimpse of a little weird sentient pizza pocket, as I like to call them, because they kind of explode like if you leave your pizza pocket in the microwave for too long. They kind of look like pizza pockets. Their actual in-universe name are Zerks. As the game goes on, you can pick up little bits of lore about them. They're basically an evolved version of a bacteria that the humans, while they were still alive in this world, created, because there's some unknown plague pandemic that had happened for them, that forced them to live in this walled-off city, enclosed in a big dome, to protect themselves. They have long since died off, unfortunately, but with that, you know, being in an enclosed area like that for an extended period, you'd imagine that waste would become a major problem. So they developed this bacteria to eat all of their waste. Well, over time, the bacteria evolved to be mobile and sentient, and pretty much just attack anything that moves. So, grab the closest bucket possible here, and get a bad jump there. Fun fact, you don't actually have to drop the bucket, you can just run into the fan with it. Alright. Nice little angle there. So those are some of those jumps I was mentioning that, like, yeah, mechanically... Ooh, 2 push on the paint bucket, that's rare. That's some nice RNG. But that little jump up there at an angle, things like that, that's where the Glitchless run has its, like, little fun quirks and skill ceiling. Jumps like that take a lot of practice to be able to execute really quickly. So mechanically the game's pretty simple. You can only jump to predetermined areas, but getting the exact angle and jump that you want out of the cat definitely takes a bit of practice. Alright. So here's the kitty's first full-on face-to-face meeting with the Zerks. And, obviously, they're kind of threatening. And we're just going to get the hell out of here. So, you would think with there being a trophy to not get hit by the Zerks, that, you know, that would be the fastest thing, is you don't want to get hit. But no, in the speedrun, we actually take pretty close to a straight line, so... On PC, they combined meow to the scroll wheel on the mouse, which allows them to meow really fast and shake off the Zerks pretty quick. Console, you really don't have that option, so we do a couple little just, like, weaves to try and avoid any of them hitting us, and then ideally, if it's an area where we're going to get several on us, I'll spam to get them off as fast as possible. Other than that, I actually try to time the meow right for when one lands on me, because if you time your meow perfectly for the exact second that a Zerk falls onto your back, it shakes off almost instantly instead of the usual, once it actually is on you, you have to meow for a moment and there's actually a little bit of an animation of the cat shaking it off. So... couple little quick, precise jumps here. Hopefully I don't mess up too many of them. I am sweating like crazy. It's been hot the last couple days here, and I don't really have any good airflow in here, so... over move the bucket a bit. And if you ever played Inside, which I know Elk is a little bit of a fan of, given the origins of that development studio. This area and just the music and like the ambient theme of the area kind of reminds me a lot of areas from Inside, which makes me happy because that was an amazing game too. Here I'm going to try to jump wide so I can get down here. There we go. Because the animation of running on the bottom there is a lot faster than being up on the railing. So okay. Just those little jumps that doesn't seem like much, but getting the exact jump you want out of the cat quickly is challenging. Like that. Got the wrong jump there. There we go. Want to go up. As well, these batteries that you don't use for anything, you don't actually have to drop them yourself. You can just drop them. Alright. And we can meow at the cameras, and the cameras nod back at us. We can preemptively go down early and be right at the door for when it opens. Once we enter in the amount that we need to get the area to proceed. These prompts can be quite tricky, so it's a lot of knowing when to let go of your directional input and sprint to get the cat to orientate exactly where you want. Here, we've been being directed to this area by something. Something's been directing us here. There's been lights, there's been arrows on monitors. Anytime we meow, the cameras respond to us. And they basically directed us to put this thing on this platform. And now that we have, it powers up, and we found out that there was an AI trapped in a computer system that had access to a bunch of the surveillance and stuff in the area. And as soon as it saw that there was something that wasn't a Zerk running around, a familiar creature, a cat, it knew it needed to make contact with us. So it directed us here, and we uploaded the AI into this little unit called B12. And we'll just refer to it as B12 for the rest of us. Alright, so all the dialogue we're just going to spam as fast as possible. And we get very typical cat behavior. If you've ever tried to put a harness or anything on a cat, they tend not to like it. I mean, there's the occasional cat that's okay with it, but... Alright. Thankfully, these codes are static, so we got 3784. It would really be horrible for speedruns if those were RNG. And then we get to spin! So as we travel with B12, there's going to be a bunch of memories that are going to be part of the main story. This is one of them, where B12 has some memories of the way things used to be while the humans were still around. There's also a whole pile of them that you can optionally find. Of course, we're only going to do the ones that are required by the main story. And B12 just clipped through a bunch of stuff. I don't think I've ever noticed that. And I will be doing this in pretty much every bucket, by the way. You gotta spin. You gotta spin. It does nothing for the speedrun, but it's like you have nothing to do when you're in the bucket, so of course you're gonna spin. Alright, so here we first get to see some humanoid robots. So these robots are remnants of the human civilization. They worked as servitors for the humans, basically helped them with all kinds of miscellaneous tasks and whatnot. And they did actually really like the humans and liked working with the humans, so they kind of, now that the humans have long been extinct, they still, like, they try to emulate human behaviors and human lifestyles. And here we'll get some smiles out of the Guardian. This is actually a visual glitch we got going on. Why am I not getting these smiles out of here? There we go. There we go. Guardian smiles to bless the run. This isn't normal. By taking a really nice tight line, we actually get a visual glitch. It doesn't actually speed up the run at all. It's just a visual glitch where the Guardian will do the animation of closing the door behind him there early. So then he just stands there and waits for us. Whereas normally, after all the other robots ran into the room, he would close the door behind them. So we got the glitch where he closes the door without actually closing the door, and then just stands there and waits, and when the last robot runs into the room, the door closes itself. But it's nice because then you get those little smiles from the Guardian to bless your run. Alright, so here we show him a postcard of, like, a beach, and he's like, well, I know really nothing about that, but you want to go up to this apartment and talk to this other robot named Momo. But Momo is kind of sad because all of his friends, main friends from the area, and his main group have all left. So, he's not really going to be too helpful unless we bring him all of his friends' notebooks. So we're going to collect all of those before we actually go and talk to him. So there's the first one. That one is Zabaltazar's. And we're going to go to Clementine's old apartment and collect Clem's. Prompt, thank you. And you'll notice me pull out B12 a lot like this, just because it does avoid the, whenever you have to interact or talk at all to anything, any of the robots. There is it's super short, but a short animation of B12 coming out before it'll actually interact with anything. So by pulling out B12 early, we can avoid that animation, and over the course of the run, it actually does add up to a couple seconds. Not too much, but it does add up to a little bit. I'm going to preemptively knock over those books because they're in our way. Alright, and we grab the keys to get Doc's notebook, which is locked in a safe. Alright, so now that we have all three of those notebooks, now we can go talk to Momo. And we can distract Momo from his grumpiness by meowing at him. Sad robot noises. Alright. So, now we showed Momo all the notebooks, so Momo's going to fix this transmitter, and we're going to have to go and attach it onto this radio tower. And the reason Momo hasn't done this himself is it's a super dangerous Zerk-infested area. So we get to go run through a ton of Zerks. Hopefully we get some decent RNG with how they behave. There is one section that this strat is quite risky, and we do have a pretty sizable chance of dying, so yeah, hopefully everything goes well here. Not the best movement there. Oh, yeah, it's okay. Also, I mentioned pizza pockets themselves, but there's a pizza place coming up here. And you can see why I call them pizza pockets. Like, look at all this stuff. Doesn't this just look like melted cheese and pizza sauce just everywhere? Just a mess from them exploding. And see, look at them. They all pop like them. Alright, jump up on here, onto the crane. And there you go. See, there's a pizza place. You can see the pizza, and the letters under there, the alphabet in this game is actually decipherable, and that legitimately does say pizza. So you can actually pull up a key to the alphabet if you ever want in the game, and you can read a bunch of the signage throughout the game. And the red title cards that show up at the beginning of each chapter, you can actually read them if you really wish. We get really good RNG on these Zerks. They're completely out of the way. And not so good RNG there. Okay. That wasn't too bad, though. That would have sucked in a serious attempt, because that slowed me down, but we're through unscathed, so that's what matters for a marathon. Alright, here, this strat is basically just meow a bunch and kind of hope for the best. You can see how red the screen's getting. I'm getting pretty close to death a few times here. And, of course, we have to get a bad jump where that doesn't work. The unfortunate thing about getting a bad jump, too, is the physics of the cat jumping off of it will push the barrel back, so I have to readjust it if I get a bad prompt like that. Alright, so that's the big threatening area. And those of you that played the game are probably like, Satori, What are you talking about? The threatening area. You got a huge threatening area here. There's a ton of Zerks. Well, see, the thing about that is as long as the Zerks are behind you, they kind of just, like, jump at you, but not actually make it. So I can just go for a casual walk while I wait for the elevator to come down. It's the most anticlimactic strat ever, and I love it. So I'm angling the camera to get this prompt as soon as it's available to jump out. Alright. So now we attach the transmitter through teleporting digital magic via B12. I can't explain how the interacting with stuff works. B12 just magically scans and digitizes everything and stores it and then, like, manifests it out of thin air when needed. Just go with it. Alright, so some more memories from B12. I'm just gonna spam through that quickly. So now that we attach the transmitter, we're gonna go back to Momo, and we will try to make contact with his friends that moved on up. Alright, so here we need to get some good movement to get the first cycle on these guys, which easily done there. Because we need to distract this guy so he drops the paint bucket. They have a fun game of throwing paint buckets back and forth across the rooftops. I mean, I suppose if you're stuck here and have nothing else to do, that could be a fun game. But I make them drop the bucket, which pisses off the laundromat owner, and now they're gonna go clean up that paint and open their door so we can go in and steal the laundry detergent. And not get the prompt to jump down. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna prompt Momo to go start the transmission, but while Momo's gonna go sit down, we're gonna use that time to quickly go and trade in the laundry detergent for an electric cable. Keep B12 out so that the dialogue starts as soon as possible. Alright, so now Momo's going to use this computer to access the transmitter, and we get to talk to Zabaltazar, who was the first apartment we went into for the notebooks. The signal gets cut short, though, and this gentleman here is going to tell us how hopeless all of our plans are. And Doc's like, no. We need to go find out what happened to your dad, buddy. Because his dad was Doc. So, we're gonna go chase him down and go like, no. It's not hopeless, and you're gonna help us. Greedy, this isn't May today. This is Aloy. Do you not see the orange hair? This is Horizon Marathon. This is a Horizon game. can leave little prints from the paint. So we're gonna keep B12 out for all this, so of course, like I said, faster dialogue. Alright. I didn't actually give him the... What? Why is that first? Oh, because it is first. Ha 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 ha! My memory. Alright, so we show him his dad's notebook, and then he's like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna look at my dad's notebook instead of being a grumpy asshole. So, we give him his dad's notebook and convince him to help us. We're gonna go access his dad's secret room, and he's gonna come in here and go, well, is there even anything in here useful? And we'll be like, yeah, we found this tracker. But the tracker's broken. So we need to go and talk to a tech nerd to go and get it fixed. But that tech nerd is, you know, somehow magically convinced that he's cold, even though he's a robot. Which is why we needed the cable, because we're going to go visit a sweet old grandma. And she's going to knit the cable for us into a vest. So, hey Grandma, I'm gonna give her this cable and she's gonna make us a nice little vest. So now that we have the vest, now we can go talk to... What is this guy's name again? Elliot. Elliot! We're gonna give Elliot the tracker to fix, and you can see him shivering. We're also going to give him the vest, or it's a blanket, I guess. So he'll warm up and be able to focus and fix the tracker for us. And now that he fixed the tracker, we'll go back to Seamus. And he's going to use that tracker to help us find his dad. Because his dad was really smart and can help us. So, let's boot up the tracker. And be like, oh my goodness, is it finding my dad? And then he's gonna walk really painfully slow while staring at the tracker. Kids these days and their phones, I'll swear. You're walking on the street, son, you gotta look up. Stop staring at your phone. And unfortunately, I have to kind of slowly walk with him. If you get too far away from the robots, they'll just kind of stand there and start looking for you. They lose sight of you if you get too far away. So, we're just gonna, you know, slowly go. We get a nice little close-up of Kitty, though. And then we're gonna rub on this guy. Make them all happy. Alright. So the tracker led us to this spot. But we're gonna see as this door opens that... Oh, look. There is a whole bunch of Zerk stuff here. And the robots can't really move all that fast. They can't really outrun Zerks like we can. They're not as fast or agile as a cat. So Elliot's gonna kind of go, yeah, I can't go any further. This is too dangerous, and leave us to go. But he's gonna give us a little pin so that when we find Doc, that he's gonna know that we were sent by him. Also, I don't need B12 out. Alright. So we got another little gauntlet of Zerks to run through. It shouldn't be too big of an issue. Most of these groups you can get by without getting hit at all. There's only a couple spots where you're going to get hit, and you usually can shake them off pretty damn quick. Be in the clear now. Prompt, thank you. Just a couple quick jumps to swing everything into place for us. And then we got a nice little auto scroller here. It's supposed to be really suspenseful, but yeah, this is 100% just an auto scroller. Alright, so this is the second tumble that the kitty takes. But again, we'll limp a couple steps, give the leg a little lick, and we'll be fine. There we go. There you go. Lick the leg. And we're magically fine again. Alright. Surprisingly, with all the Zerk stuff, there's not a bunch of Zerks here. There's some in a cage, though. What's going on? Well, we found Doc. Doc's just kind of sleeping. So if you've ever watched Back to the Future, this character model kind of looks a little familiar, doesn't he? Doc and his kid Seamus are actually like a very, very overt Easter egg of Doc and Marty McFly from Back to the Future. To the point where the device he's going to fix up for us is called the defluxer. You know, as in the flux capacitor. So yeah, we need to go get him some power so he can fix this device up for us. So he gives us a fuse to go put into a generator over here. Now, watch the window in the back right corner. You can see the Zerks just spawn out of thin air. It's amazing. Alright, so we powered everything up. Doc's really happy about it. Takes like a good 10 seconds to celebrate before saying anything. And now he's gonna fix up his defluxer and somehow make it small and inside B12. I don't know how the hell that works. But now we've got a strong UV light emitting beam, which can now pop the Zerks. Because the Zerks, don't deal well with UV light. So now we've got a weapon. environmental puzzle. Move that barrel all the way so we can move this barrel over and get into a vent. Because he can't open this door, unfortunately. So. We're going to go inside and open it for him. And again, we got another moderately risky strat coming up here. So there's a ton of Zerks for this part. We're just going to get rid of the ones on Doc so he'll get up, and then we're just going to go run around outside with all the Zerks. No! Ah, you little jerk. Alright, well, that was almost ideal strat. The idea is we get as little in here as possible, so it's easier to clean them up, and that way we get the dialogue from Doc as soon as possible, but one survived. If you want the actual lore behind that, Dorian, B12 is just short for Blue 12, which is what they chose to name their studio, the developers. So it's a nod to themselves. Alright, so we saved Doc, and now we're back to where Seamus had left us. So now we get a happy reunion of Doc and Seamus. Daddy? It warms my circuit board. And yeah, you can meow during cutscenes, so I have nothing else to do, so I spam meow. But we get to see a bunch of reactions from everyone behind while we spam meow right there. Alright. So now we'll be back up with Momo, now that we needed this device because we're going to go through the sewers, and the sewers are absolutely infested with Zerks. So that's why we needed Doc's help, so we could have some line of defense against all the Zerks. Even though you can totally go through the sewers without the device at all, there's actually a trophy for going through the sewers without killing any Zerks. So now we get another little bit of an auto-scroller. We get a mini one here, and then a bit of a longer one shortly after we open a gate. But we can, you know, flash. Flash the light at Momo. And, you know, he's got a nice rainbow face, so the purple light kind of, like, changes the pattern on his face a bit when you, like shine it on him. And, yeah, B12 will overheat if you use it too long. Also, the water's, like, all algae green and stuff, and green and purple are such a nice color combination. They go so well together. Alright, so we gotta open this door so that Momo can get through with the raft. just get some really nice cat jams. This is actually one of my favorite. The entire soundtrack for this game is amazing, but this is one of my personal favorites, is this specific track. I mean, everything is Sewers. Out of everything, Sewers is definitely some of my favorites. Just really cool, chill percussion. There's some Zerks up there just watching us. Sadly, they're out of range of the beam. It'd be cool if you could just pop them, even though they're not a threat. Can still spam the light during this little bit of cinematic. And B12's just invisible for it. Until there. There we go. So we're just gonna preemptively jump on to this barrel and wait at the door. Put the camera into the ground just because I can. Alright, now the big scary sewers. Look at this place. You can already tell there's a lot of Zerk action that we're going to be seeing here. So the first little bit of this is pretty quiet. There are some Zerks that are kind of watching from up there, but they're not a threat yet. This is just some platforming. Can I get the prompt? Wow. Rude game. Preemptively get B12 ready here, because now everything's going to turn into threat. So we can kind of use B12 to get rid of the Zerks as fast as they are on us here. And try to take as straight of a line as possible. That was a little bad. Got slowed down a little there, but not too bad. As simple as that, we're through this room. The Zerks there are pretty consistent in their spawn locations. There's the occasional time you'll get a little bit of weird pattern from them, but for the most part they're in a nice consistent spot, so you can just be ready with B12 to clear the path as you approach it. And now we get a cinematic with a giant eyeball. And it's gonna poop out a bunch more Zerks. So we're gonna get absolutely swarmed by Zerks here. B12's gonna come to our defense to save us, but in doing that, B12 overloads its circuits and burns out. to the point where it loses the ability to use the defluxer and can't even fly. So we're going to grab B12 and get out of here. Usually this area will go without getting hit once. The occasional time one will hit me here, though, which is always frustrating. Because then it kind of means I end up getting hit here as well, because I got slowed down. But here, for the most part, until we get to the last little bit, you can get through without any Zerks getting too close to you. It's just this last group here that could potentially attach. So I just gotta be ready to shake them off. And we're clear. So B12's had time to cool down. I gotta give him a couple slaps, wake him up. So B12's fine, can move again, but the defluxer's broken. But fortunately for us, that's it for Zerks. So we don't really need the defluxer anymore. So now we got to a place called Ant Village. Why it's called Ant Village, I can't help you. So we got a little cinematic here. We see one of those pods, like was in the room where we first found B12. And B12 is going to look at it and have a realization that these pods were meant for a human to put themselves inside, to digitize their entire psyche and put themselves as an AI. And B12 realizes that B12 did that to themselves, and they were the scientist that they thought they worked with. They weren't an AI that worked with the scientist, they were the scientist all along. And now we meet Zabaltazar, who's super meditative, contemplating, you know, their entire existence or something. But Zabaltazar is going to direct us to speak with Clementine, who has made it to the next level of trying to get out. This entire group, Momo, Doc, Zabaltazar, and Clementine, they're a group called the Outsiders, and their entire mission was they knew that there had to be something outside of the walls of the city they're in. They knew there was something out there, and their entire mission was just someone has to see it. It doesn't matter who, we just need to get someone outside. So they all made it to various stages of trying to achieve this goal. Clementine's the furthest up, and Zabaltazar's kind of directed us to where Clementine's whereabouts should be. So we make it to the most modern-like settlement in the game called Midtown, where these robots up here are living a much more capitalistic sort of type of structure. They pretend to hold jobs that they don't really need to have. They have a police state with surveillance. They party at nightclubs. All kinds of stuff like that. Have high fashion. So there's a bunch of clues that we've picked up along the way to tell us where to find Clementine. Of course, you know, being a speedrun and playing the game 50,000 times, we know exactly where Clementine's apartment already is, so we're just gonna go straight to Clem's apartment. Are you kidding me? I let go. Rude. There we go. So now we meet Clem. Clem suddenly realizes we're not a threat. So we have a little chat with Clem. I'm gonna preemptively pull this out for later on, because Clem takes a few seconds to get in position here. Alright. So Clem knows that we need a little bit of help, so gave us a note to find their contact. We're going to jump on a camera on our way down. We're also going to go and dump some beer bottles on a guy that's passed out at a table. And there's reasons we're doing all this stuff. Wake up! Time to get back to work, buddy. Alright. So he's going to go back to work, and while he's going back to work, we're going to head back here and knock down a couple more cameras. There's a group of 3 here that they just want to jam, man. They just want to jam, but the police state won't allow it. There's no dancing. There ain't no dancing in this revolution, so we need to get rid of these cameras so that they can do that. I got a bad animation. Ugh, that was horrible movement. Now that we got rid of those cameras, though, they're gonna thank us by giving us a mixtape. So we're gonna grab that tape. There's that guy going back to work. And we're gonna go blast some beats in here. So that the storekeeper gets distracted, and we're gonna steal a jacket. And then we're gonna jump in this box. Because we're a cat. And why wouldn't we? And no one questions the meowing box. Alright, we're gonna steal his hat. And now we're gonna go talk to Clem's contact. Because we needed to disguise him as a worker, and if we just talked to him, you know, we would have had to go get all that stuff. But now that we have it, we can just go talk to him. He's gonna be like, okay, we need to get into this factory. So before I talk to him again, I'm gonna position him so I get the jump prompt on this box, give him the disguise, and then I'm gonna jump into the box while he gets changed. Which is also gonna break the game. So watch the box closely. Watch the box. Zoop! There goes the cat. Because we're technically supposed to jump in after the little cut to black where Blazer puts on the disguise. But because we jumped in early, it just kind of like breaks the game's physics a little. And it's gonna happen again. When he puts down the box, the cat's going to just, like, temporarily teleport outside of the box. Here it comes again. There we go. Alright. So now we're in this factory, because we need to steal another fuse or power supply thing. So these enemies are quite a threat. They are a one-shot kill, so... But for the most part, as long as we take nice clean lines through here, that one we just went past at the very start was really the only one that's too much of a concern. So the rest of this should be nice and smooth sailing, because these ones are really slow, and we can just run straight past. We'll do some meow strats here to pull their gaze, and that way they don't even follow us. Because if they do follow you all the way here, there is a chance they'll see, the one can see you inside this room and can actually give you a game over death while you're inside this room. So we just preemptively avoid that by distracting them so that they don't actually follow. There is a fancy fast strat for this, but it's actually only like 2 seconds faster, and it is extremely risky. And actually, my testing was that it's not even faster on most attempts. Like, you need absolute perfect movement for it to be faster, so... Get those on those panels, the barrel on the third panel, and then we can grab this. And for whatever reason, this room drops frames on all platforms. So both on PS5, PS4, and on PC, this room just drops frames for whatever reason. So if you saw the game stutter a bit there, yeah, that's normal. Alright, because we stole the battery from the factory, though, the police are out, man. They're out to get us. Except that one, he just doesn't care. We're closing this area off, and there's a ton of sentinels in here. Again, though, as long as we run in nice paths, we should be okay for the most part. Going up the stairs there can be a little risky. Nice clean movement into here. So we go back to Clem's, and Clem is no longer here, but left us a bunch of notes and clues. So we have to go and get every piece of the clues, which is why we pulled out that drawer, so we can jump up here. So we get each piece of the clues. One last one up top here. And that tells us that we need to go meet Blazer at the nightclub. So we're gonna go meet Blazer at the nightclub. This guy, for whatever reason, got angry and stole the handle, but because we get him drunk, he's gonna let us take the handle. Because we need that to lower this platform, as I'm hitting the wrong button. So this raises up, we can go up here. Just have to press the far button and the closest button to get these perfectly into place to proceed. And there we see Blazer up in the VIP room. But we see Clem tied up. What's going on? Blazer's done turned us into the man. So, now we're off to jail. Alright, so as soon as I get there we go. Autosave there. We're going to reload checkpoint. Because what that does is... Oh, I lost momentum. Is allows me to start swinging the cage during the black screen before you actually have full control. And I need to listen to that to be able to hear the cage swings to know when to go back the other direction. Alright. So that allowed me to move the cage early. So we're out of our cage cell. And now we need to find Clem. So gotta get Clem out of their cell. Again, these sentinels are not too much of an issue, although I have had this one kill me once in a run. Only once. But it has happened. Alright. So we found Clem. We no longer have B12 at the moment either, though, because the police took B12 in our backpack. So Clem's gonna just kind of point that, hey, there's keys over there. So we're gonna go get the keys so Clem can get out of the cell. Hopefully not get a weird glitch. I have had one run where those keys just like went flying when Clem went to grab them and they just disappeared. Which is horrible because it's like a minute and a half of time loss. Alright. So now we have Clem. Now we need to find a way out of here and B12. So I'm gonna run and meow a bunch just to hopefully... Okay, Clem's moving. Clem can soft lock the game here and just stop moving, so I always like to make sure that I can see Clem and Clem starts moving before I lose any camera angle. I don't know if it helps, but it seems like it does help avoid that soft lock. So Clem's gonna go like, hey, we need to go and we can use this to get out of here. But then you see, B12's down there. We can't leave, Clem. We gotta save B12 too. And of course, again, meowing incessantly during cutscenes because I can. Alright. So Clem agrees, like, yeah, I understand. You gotta save everyone. I respect that. So, Clem's gonna help us get down here so that we can go get B12. But we've got a whole bunch of lasers and sentinels to get through. Worry, we've got some good pathing that we should be able to do this pretty smooth. Alright. And we got a slip there. Oh well. Not the best RNG here. We're gonna kind of have to wait that one. Meowstrat's here. We're through. And we can actually move during this cutscene, so we don't even have to sneak our way to B12. We're already on the platform and can just grab B12 and leave. Simple as that. Alright, so we're gonna knock down some bricks. And there's like a pattern of like a tide ripper here. And I'm gonna position my paws right like on the tide ripper's chin. Because what that's going to allow me to do is, should be able to, as soon as Clem's in position, get the prompt on Clem's head super early so I can jump up right away, instead of having to wait for the animation of Clem to finish crouching down and then standing back up. So, get a nice little fast jump off of Clem there, by positioning off the Tide Ripper. here. I'm going to get these sentinels' attention as fast as possible. Gonna run in here, close the door, hide in the grass, and done. That one's easy. This next spot can be a little tricky. There's 2 sentinels in this next area. I need to get the attention of the one in the middle first. I need to get both of their attention so they both follow me, close the door, and get out without getting shot. Alright, so I'm going to start meowing right away, because I need this one to turn red. There we go. Get in here. I'm going to hug the wall and make it out. Both are in the cell, and we're good. Simple as that. Except not, because that strat is so risky. It can go wrong so easily. And here we can potentially get some more black screen movement. Ah, I didn't get it. You can get the jump onto this during the black screen. I just didn't quite get it there. That's only a small time save, though. The big one here, this one's about 15, maybe 20 seconds, is we're going to take some nice tight lines to the van. And, you know, if you played this game that you had to run down while getting shot at by sentinels down this alleyway, yeah, we can avoid that and just jump onto the van early. Which will, in turn, trigger the cutscene early. So we're getting chased by all the sentinels and that. And as I mentioned earlier, the whole mission of the Outsiders was just to get someone, anyone, to the outside. So Clem's actually going to stay behind and be like, I'm going to get them off your tail. Quite literally. And be a diversion. You go on, just make it. Get outside. It's all that matters. Someone has to do it. So Clem's gonna get the Sentinels' attention and send us on our way to move on to the next area. Again, I'm going to preemptively pull out B12. I didn't get quite as far of a run down the hall before the prompt took, but yeah. Can get a little bit of a head start down the hall because as soon as we get out of this cinematic, the game will put us where we were last, so we can get us slightly closer to where we need to be. Alright, now that the subway is powered up here, we can use these keys to turn it on and get going. So there's some fun physics here with the cat's tail. Apparently, like, this moves so fast that the cat's tail will go sideways. It's a little dark, but the cat's tail, like, totally turns sideways. from the movement for some reason. Alright. So we're at the, like, super high-end area. And all of these robots aren't like the other ones. They didn't have, like, personal relationships with the humans they worked for, so they're all just doing their original programming and just, like, doing their job. So we got a nice little fast strat here. Ah, we didn't get it! What? How did that not work? Okay, well... we have a little fast strat there where you can get B12 to hack that and scratch it all in once, but for some reason I didn't take. I think I got stuck a little on the wall was the problem. I've actually had that kill a PB before. But not that. It's, instead of interacting with the panel to get B12 to start hacking, I had the cat turn off the thing that needed to follow it. Took the wrong prompt. Alright, so here, B12's like gonna help us open... oh my god. Open up the dome that's enclosing the city here. Can I hit the keyboard? Thank you. Alright, so we powered everything up in the room. B12 hacked into the system, but there's a security system lock. So we need to mess with those systems. So there's 3 panels that we need to go and have B12 hack, and we'll just break a bunch of stuff, as a cat does. And hopefully I can get some good movement again during a cinematic here. So while the game's moving, I think I got it. I should hopefully be on top of the second panel right now. Yep, there we go. So we can preemptively get up here. We got one last panel. B12 can't fly anymore. We're going to put B12 on the panel to do the last little bit of the work. But B12's systems are pretty overworked and burnt out at this point. So this last little bit is going to kind of fry the little drone. But B12 is going to give it all and get everything open for us. And we got a nice little coffee cup during this touching sad cinematic. I've actually had the coffee cup land like in between where the camera sits for that last camera angle and the cat. So you actually couldn't see that last camera angle. All it was like the coffee cup. But here we go. B12 managed to do it though. The city's walls are, well, the dome is opening it. And again, sunlight is UV light, so it's killing off any of the exposed zerks. and we get to see all the friends we met along the way be fascinated by the fact that the city is opening up. And I guess the Sentinels are wired to shut down once the city is opened and things are no longer deemed a threat. That's the only explanation I have as to why the Sentinels power down there. Alright. But that also now means the gates to get outside are now opened. So 2 things coming up after we call time here. I can move an invisible cat, so watch the grass. The grass will move around because you still actually have control of the cat model. It's invisible. And there's some panels on the side to watch. Okay, so time will be coming up when it cuts here right now. There's time. Alright, so there you go. You can see like the vegetation move around. I still have control over the actual like in-game model of the cat. It's just invisible now. So I can run around and move that. And the panels on the left. Watch those panels on the wall. Watch those panels. B12 might still be in the system. So I know you were sad about B12, but B12 might not be dead. B12 might be in the system, just no longer have control over a drone to fly around. But yeah, that was Stray. And just for fun, even though this wasn't a real attempt, and we also use RTA for these runs because the IGT in this game is busted, let's take a look at our IGT, a 1:14:43. So.
RTA that I stopped is 1:20:39.
That's actually not bad. My PB's a 1:19 even, so.
G.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for showing Stray. And I might have another attack on you. So, unfortunately, Jalapeno can't show her Baba Yaga one for private reasons.
Fair enough.
So, are you down for spontaneously showing off Baba Yaga?
I can do that. I can do that.
Because we have another Baba Yaga runner here, so yeah.
I can do that. I'll just need a quick little break to run to the washroom.
We will do a break. So yeah, it is sad that Jalapeno can't show it. Because I know that she was excited to show it. But I also know the reasons and they are absolutely understandable. I would be mad if she would be here showing it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That means we will go to a break. And then we will have Jay, not Jalapeno, showing off Rise of the Tomb Raider Baba Yaga. So, thank you in advance for that, Jay, and yeah, we will see you on the other side of the break.